Well, it is midday. Well, past midday. I'm a little late. I've had some technology opportunities this morning. Midday. So I am going to get right back to this. And I think we might have some feedback. Hold on 2 seconds. I'm going to get right back. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. Zoom kept telling me that I was not able to log into Facebook, so it took me a little while to get this up and going. So let's get right to it. All right, it is Monday, so it's our market update, June 27th, 2022. Oh my gosh, can you believe we're almost at the end of June? 3 amazing questions for us to tackle this week, and these are questions that I'm hearing over and over again. So let's get going. Number 1, are interest rates at historic highs? And then we're going to ask, coming from buyers, when will we enter a buyer's market? And for sellers, have all the buyers disappeared? So let's jump right into this. Just a reminder, the numbers that drive the US real estate, home sales, home prices, month supply of inventory, mortgage rates, and affordability. And I'm sure by now you've got those all memorized. Quick look at what's happening nationally. So this is our quick market update from one of my lending partners. Existing home sales slipped 3.4% month over month in May. Those are the latest numbers that they have given us. Good news, mortgage application submissions have increased by 4.2%. So that is good news. And then the one down at the bottom, new home sales soared 10.7%. All good news. And the one at the top is not as bad as we would think. It's really what we expect. So as we've discussed before, we know that a lot of what's happening right now is because the Feds increased the Fed rates. The market responded. This was intentional. These are part of the Fed's tools and rules that they use to help try and avoid a recession and deal with the inflation that we've seen recently. So this is basically what the Feds have said. So interest sensitive spending is a very important aspect of how our tools work. Because again, we don't always understand what we're doing. So this is coming straight from the federal government. In the case of housing market, what you are seeing is higher mortgage rates. Yes, we're definitely seeing that. So you are actually seeing demand move down quite significantly. Yes, that's definitely what we're seeing. So the result of increasing Fed rates led to the result in the increasing mortgage rates, interest rates, which, yes, has resulted in demand decreasing. I think what you will see, or many forecasters call for, the increases in housing prices to slow pretty significantly now. I think most buyers would agree that that is kind of what they're hoping for. And we're going to have a little discussion around some of the language around that a little further on. And then what we hope is we can get demand, that part of the economy, to slow to a more sustainable pace and get the housing market back on a more sustainable path where there is a balance between supply and demand. As we discussed last week, across the country, we have inventory sitting at a 2.2 months of inventory. Healthier is going to be 4%, 4 months worth of inventory. 6 months of inventory is truly where we typically see a true balanced market. So let's translate that into what's really happening. So that first question that was asked, are mortgage rates absolutely at this insane high? And I think this graphic, which was from realtor.com, really gives us that perspective that yes, we're sitting at, and the rates over the weekend were 5.75%. We've definitely seen a lot higher rates. So this graph just shows till the end of May, but we are sitting at that 5.7 now. But historically, we've been a lot higher. Again, remember, this is a tool that the Feds are employing to try and get us back into more of a balanced market where it's good for buyers and sellers. The sellers have been reaping the benefits in the last couple of years, and it's really time to stop that out of control price increases that we've seen and get it back so that our buyers actually have a chance of getting into homes. So no, mortgage rates are not at historic highs. There's a lot more that could happen. We don't see them going too much higher. They may go a little bit up and down, as we know when the announcement was made that the immediate response to that is the market pushed those interest rates up over 6%. They're back down to 5.75, and they've really been sitting there the last week, but we're monitoring that on a daily basis. Okay, so we know the interest rates are up, but let's really look at Southern California, and that's going to help us answer the other two questions that I have been receiving. Okay, expected market time. So this one is really important, and this goes to buyers asking, when are we going to get into a buyer's market? So just that reminder of the less than 60 days is the hot sellers market. So this bottom line over here really represents, this is that insanely hot sellers market that we've seen and we have been in. Now we've got the sharp kind of increase in expected days on market. So 60 to 90 days is a seller's market. 90 to 120 days would be considered, and this is this line here, which we have been in before, a balanced market. Once we get up to the 120 to 150 days, that is your slight buyer's market. And yes, we have been there before. There was a time in 2018, this spike over here was COVID, when basically, we couldn't actually do real estate for a very sort of split second there. And that's why that market time shot up. And then, of course, we went into the recovery with the lower interest rates. And that's why we've been in this insane seller's market. So you can see historically, and this is all the way back to 2012, and this is 2022, that we have been in and out of various markets. Since this recording, and this is from Reports on Housing, so Stephen Thomas, the economist that tracks this, we haven't been in a deep buyer's market. Yes, we have been in slight buyer's markets before, and let's have a look and see where we may be going to. All right, so breaking down Southern California into the various counties that we have. So LA, 30 to 64 days. Now, again, let's go back here. We're talking about 90 to 120 days is a balanced market. The 120 to 150 days is going to be your slight buyer's market. So let's go forward. So we're still right now, we are in the phase. So LA, Orange County, we're 56 days on market. Riverside, 59. San Bernardino, 73 days. San Diego, 55. So it really depends on the county that you're in, whether or how fast we may be getting closer to that balanced market. But right now, we're all in a slight seller's market. We're not even at a balanced market, but we're moving in that direction. So this is the prediction. Now, according to Stephen Thomas, he does believe that we are going to hit a slight buyer's market. Doesn't have enough data for his models to really project when, but the trajectory is definitely there. But nobody can predict. No one has that crystal ball that's going to say exactly when that's going to happen. So for buyers who are holding out saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the market to crash, be careful, because just because we're going to get into a slight buyer's market does not mean that we're going to see a housing crash. There's no indication of that before. Look back at some of our previous sessions that we've had where we showed you that people have too much equity in their homes. The lenders, and we'll look at some of those graphs again in a minute, the lenders are not lending money to people who can't afford to actually repay the loans. So we're not going to see that glut because, again, our inventory is still really, really tight. But yes, buyers, that may be coming, but we don't know when. So definitely look for that increase, and then also know that this is normally, that this is as a result of the increase in the interest rates, but we're definitely going to track it closely. Okay, so let's have a look at our inventory. As we've mentioned before, most of our issues have come about because we have a lack of inventory. This has been a problem, and I mentioned this last week on Monday's update last week, that we have been on this declining inventory trajectory, all these OREs, since 2014. In 2019, that was the hot topic of conversation in the realtor community, was what can we do to increase the number of homes available for buyers. And at that point, the feds were kind of saying, okay, if we increase the Fed rates, then the mortgage rates would rise up, and then that would help slow the demand, and then the inventory would rise. So this is not a new thing, but it's a lot worse than where we would have been if COVID hadn't hit us. And of course, that definitely resulted in some significant reduction in the inventory numbers. So currently, if we have a look at this, if we look at our 3-year average, we're still 50% below where we should be in inventory for us truly to have a healthy market. Again, this is why the feds are trying to employ the tools that they have to slow down demand, slow down the soaring home prices, so that the demand the lack of demand will equate in more homes coming onto the market and staying longer than the split second that they've been on. Still low inventory. That is something that has to be overcome. Okay, bottom line. So we're going to make this short and sweet today. The second question, well, not just the second question, but it relates to buyers and their ability to buy now and who their buyer pool is. And also this is going to address the question for our sellers as well, as to have all the buyers disappeared. Keep in mind that our largest buyer pool are millennials. And I'm currently working with a couple of different millennial couples, and let me tell you, they are educated about what's going on in the marketplace. They are motivated to purchase a property because they see the wealth building potential of getting into the housing market now, and they are financially qualified to do so. Some of them on their own, others because they've got family members who also see the value of the young people in their lives getting into home ownership and starting that climb through the wealth building process that home ownership can be. Those buyers are there, and I met quite a few of them over the weekend. Also keep in mind that, again, as I said, these millennials that we're working with and coming into contact with, having conversations with, they're sitting in this little section. So remember, this was the slide from last week. The light blue are the credit scores. These are young people who have been very aware about how not to waste their money, how to really put their money to good use, and how to ensure that they weren't putting themselves into unnecessary debt. They have high credit scores. As a result, they're really good borrowers. So lenders are willing to work with them because they've got what it takes to actually go through with home ownership and repaying the mortgages. So we've got those positives that are out there. So sellers, where have all the buyers disappeared? No. And I'm going to share my experience from this past weekend. Fortunate colleague of mine has 2 amazing listings. He allowed me to help him with one on Saturday, and I was back there on Sunday. This is a property under $1 million. So it's that great either first time homeowner property, or perhaps good for somebody who's looking to downsize. So kids have left home and they're ready for something smaller. They don't need the big family home anymore. They want the simpler lifestyle. So this gorgeous little townhome, lots of people who came in. And again, if it was our younger millennials as I said, totally educated about what's going on. They just wanted validation about whether what they were reading and seeing is truly what we as real estate professionals are can support, which we were able to do. The other thing is qualified and motivated. There wasn't anyone who came in who wasn't a serious buyer who's been looking in the market. Some of them started a couple of months ago, got totally beaten down by the insane sellers market where there were 20 offers before you even put your sign on the yard. And then they were being outbid by all these cash buyers. The market is not there anymore for that. This property, this townhome, is priced appropriately according to the current market conditions. And there's a very good chance that we're going to get some multiple offers on the property. But these are serious buyers who are taking the time to make sure that when their offers come in, it is something that they want. They have crossed every T, dotted every I, and they're as qualified as they possibly can be. So these are buyers who see the value of getting into home ownership now rather than waiting because they think that there's a housing crash about to happen when none of the data is supporting that at this point in time. So sellers, the buyers are out there. They are serious, but they are educated. They want to make sure that they're not going to get ripped off. They're paying attention to data. They are hiring agents who are helping them understand how the pricing for that home truly relates to the current market conditions and not necessarily to something that sold a month ago when everything was going for over the list price. So now a conversation. This is really important as well. Now, there's all sorts of terminology that's being thrown around at the moment, and I want to make sure that we're all speaking apples to apples, et cetera, et cetera. So number one, prices. Everyone is predicting that home prices are going to fall. Yes, we are seeing the price reductions happening because there's basically three ways of pricing a home. Either there's the less is more strategy, where you're truly going to price slightly below what the market data is telling you right now that the market can support, with the intention that you're going to get multiple offers, and most of the time that's going to happen. And that less is more, it has to be that the list price is truly a reflection of the property. Because if the property is in bad condition, that price better reflect it. If it is in a terrible location, backs up to a freeway, power lines overhead, whatever it is, then that price better reflect that. So properties that are sitting on the market right now are because the list price is not taking that into consideration. So the less is more will bring you more. There's the pricing to the data. That's your kind of safe bet. We're comfortable. We know where the market's going. We also call it pricing ahead of the market. Those sellers are going to get buyers in. It's going to get visibility, and they're going to get an offer. Then there's the retail pricing, and that is the let's add in that little buffer. And we respect whichever way a seller wants to go, but know that our buyers are savvy. They're working with agents who are keeping them informed and educated about today's market, and those properties that may be retail pricing are probably not going to get the exposure that someone in the other two categories might get. Your chances are your multiple offers are not going to be a reality, and that property is going to sit on the market month after month after month, and then may get stigmatized because of that. Not that there was anything wrong with the property, but the pricing strategy may not fit with your desire, if your desire is to get it sold as quickly as possible for the best price right now. This is just an indication, again, that we are seeing those price reductions. And a lot of these are because the properties were put on the market maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, where the market was totally different. It really has taken, and I hesitate to kind of use the dip, but it truly has taken a dip when it comes to list prices. Here's the correction that I want you to put in your mind. Please do not equate list price to property value. Property values last year, 20% appreciation in values. Are we going to see negative appreciation in 2022? No. All the experts that I follow say we should see around about a 5% appreciation this year. That means that values, not list prices, values are going to keep going up. They just can't sustain the 20% that we saw last year. So home values are not going to drop. List prices, so home prices, need to be reflective of the changing market. So yes, we're seeing the price reductions. The two are not synonymous. They are related, but it's not the same thing. So, don't worry about that. And generally, in Southern California, we have seen appreciation every single year between 5 and 8%. So all it is we're returning more to a normal market when it comes to real estate and appreciation. Sellers, just a bottom line reminder, price ahead of the market. Think about what your goal is, and then your realtor can give you the data for that, and then you make the decision which direction you want to go, whether less is more, pricing ahead of the market according to the market data, or whether you want the retail pricing with that buffer. Condition and location needs to determine the price that you choose. Days on market stacking up is the kiss of death to achieving top sales price. And there is one property, I'm not going to call it out specifically, but it has basically been on the market for 3 years. And the reason for that is not the condition, it's not the location, it is the price. Once the sellers truly come to terms with the price for that updated, renovated condition in the location it is in, they're going to sell their property. But it's really hard right now because it's been on the market for 3 years. It is stigmatized. Most buyers don't even look at it anymore. And agents kind of throw up their hands and say, oh my gosh, here we go again with this property. Buyers, advice for you, know your market. Make sure that you truly understand where the market is going at the moment. I know a lot of you are really staying on top of it. Make sure that you're partnering with a resource who you trust. So a real estate agent who can really make sure you're getting the right information so you can make an informed decision. And then have a strategy. There are still properties that are going to have multiple offers. Most of the time, you're going to have a little more time to put your strategy together and get your offer in. It needs to be as clean as possible still, but take advantage of the interest rates, which are not skyrocketing as many would have you believe. So I hope that this has been helpful today. Jennifer, Tim, the Welcome Home Global Group, we are passionate about making sure you have the right information that's timely, really database, so that you can make the right decision for you. Home ownership is a great option for you. Make sure that you're consulting with your financial advisor to see if it is the right decision for you and your family. And if home ownership is, or you're ready to sell and buy or buy an investment property, whatever it is, from condo to mansion, our handpicked team will make sure that you receive the service that you expect from real estate professionals that you hire. Have a fantastic day. And I don't think we will do a report next Monday unless there's something absolutely amazing or extraordinary that we need to report on, as next Monday is July 4th. So wishing you all an amazing last week of June, and let's get ready to welcome in the third quarter of 2022.